This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shade 45.
Wake your punk ass up. That crust out your eyes.
Sway in the morning, Shade 45, man. Always good to be in the presence of this dude, this young man, Heather B. Mm-hmm. You know, always has something to say and always stays creative and always does it his own way. Lupe Fiasco.
Yes.
See you, man. Notice.
How y'all doing? Good morning.
Good to see you, man. Notice the locks seem to be extended now, man.
Yeah, you draping.
Yeah, I see you.
Yeah.
You shaking them too, like you in the Bay?
Yeah. All that.
All that?
I always wanted long hair. I was always afraid to get long hair when I was younger.
Really?
And I would in the breaks, like spring breaks or summer breaks, I would try and grow my hair.
Uh-huh.
And then right when we went back to school, like the day before, I would like cut it all off. Go back to like a bald fade. So I was like, now I don't care.
You don't care now, right?
So
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. What did you? Why did you want to be like a rock star? You just thought you just liked the way it made you look, or?
I never had long hair. And it was just one of the things like, before I die, I wanted to experience long hair.
Wow, that's interesting, man.
That's good.
You like it, Tracy? You know, from an appealing part, from a female perspective?
I co-sign it, yeah. And a lot of women are into like pulling hair now instead of having their own hair pulled. Because if you know a man has long hair, it's not going to move from his scalp. But if you pull a woman's hair, a clip might fall out, some tracks might get stretched.
What girl pull man during sex?
Yeah, a lot of men have longer hair now.
Nah, yo.
What's the issue?
I'm passing on
look at
that.
his face.
Yeah, you get everybody's
Look at everybody's
The
face.
whole piece was just like, so you got dreadlocks?
Yeah,
had sex with those dreadlocks. It's like, all right.
We jump real fast, right? Man, a couple things going on in your life, man. First of all, this Henry Crown fellowship that you've been awarded. What is that about, man?
That's
You don't want to talk about that?
Oh no, I can talk about it.
I know what it is, but I like
thing.
it.
It's one of the most sacred things I've ever been a part of in my entire life.
Yeah.
An amazing organization is from the Aspen Institute. So if you're not familiar with the Aspen Institute, aspeninstitute.org. Or just Google it and check it out and see what they do. The Henry Crown Fellowship is one of the programs out of the Aspen Institute, and they basically take every year since 1997 in honor of Henry Crown, who was a Chicago industrialist. They choose a class of 20 of the most influential, successful, powerful people in the world, and put them together and for a week, 4 weeks over 2 years, and have these seminars, and at the end you do a project. And it's some of the most successful people in the world. Yeah. In my class, it's the president of Heineken. It's my girl Diane, who's integral in creating Waze. The app Waze, the map app. It's just an interesting place to be in, position to be, and a lot of opportunity and access came from it.
Why did they tell you they chose you?
Well, you got to be nominated. You got to become a fellow. You have to be nominated by a fellow.
Okay.
And my boss in Chicago is Michael Farrow, who owns the Sun Times, and he's a fellow. And I asked him to mentor me in business. And part of it was he said, "Yo, I'm gonna nominate you to be a Henry Crown Fellow." And I didn't think I had a snowball chance in hell of being in it, especially when you see double Rhodes Scholar, Harvard MBA, this guy, such and such, this person worth $3 billion, et cetera, et cetera. And when I did my interview, they knew more about me than I did. They did background checks on everybody. Yeah. Another fellow is Troy Carter.
Troy Carter.
Yeah. So Troy Carter's a fellow. Thelma Golden, who's the curator of the Studio Museum in Harlem, is a fellow.
Yeah.
So there's some people that we know that are kind of in our circle, but then there's some other people who we don't know that are like up there. But it's a sacred, interesting piece, man. So I'm just taking full advantage of it. See, I can.
And this is what congratulations first and foremost. I actually read up about it, and this is like some of the world's most new breed of leaders under the age of 45. Yeah. Some of the most influential people who are trying to make society a better place, through their works and their activities. Yeah.
Is somebody going to nominate you?
Right, Sway.
Oh, man, I got skeletons, man. It'll ruin everything I built.
Skeleton is good.
I got skeletons, too, and I thought that would be like, nah, we're not rocking with that. But they want diverging opinion in the group, to make the group dynamic as realistic as possible. And so like I said, I didn't think I was gonna make it. I was like, and I told them at the interview, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
And they were like, they called me on my birthday and was like, yo,
Wow.
you're a fellow, welcome to the fellowship. So, it's an amazing thing, man. It's an amazing piece. And as time goes on, I'll be able to divulge more information about it, tell people more about the programs that we're doing, et cetera, et cetera. But right now I'm kind of hush-hush about it.
Yeah, I get it. What I often say about this guy, Heather B.
Well, that he's outspoken. He speaks his mind.
Yeah.
And in a creative way. And sometimes people don't always accept it, but it's his truth. And you've been appreciative of it, as I have as well.
Yeah.
So
And
I've always said that.
And to me, I think I look at like, I say this to Lupe, man. I just like people who just push the envelope and expand our perimeters of what we see, how we see ourselves. And, people come from like beginnings. And I just like the way you diversifying your portfolio, so to speak. You're not purposely doing everything. Seems organic. I heard, that you're an ambassador for cancer, right?
Ambassador for Stand Up to Cancer.
Stand Up to Cancer, yeah. And I heard the song that you did, and really, you don't hear a lot about that. You know what I mean? And people don't take the time and the effort to do that. I want to talk to you about that, and then also, of course, the new album, and other things that you're doing, because I like when we can learn from people's actions. I know you're not purposely trying to teach, but organically you're doing things that are teaching us. You know what I mean? And I can appreciate that, especially when coming from rap. I just think we got to just peel off the ceilings and get rid of the walls and see ourselves in broader places. Lupe Fiasco is here, 888-742-3345. Sway in the Morning. Powerful song right there. Lupe Fiasco is with us right now.
Yeah.
And
we are on a mission.org. You can go get that right now. And then we got a little video that we shot called Missions. It's not the music video, but it's some of the survivors and people that were influential in bringing the song together. And then just different people, testifying about their experience with cancer, et cetera. So we're on a mission.org to check that out and to download the single.
Yeah, man. Congratulations, man. I think that's I was sharing with you that my grandfather had bone marrow cancer, and there's so much cancer in our communities, across the board, man. Whether you Caucasian, Asian, African American, and you just don't hear songs, like that. That's a powerful song. Is that you singing in the hook too?
No, that's I think that's either Sounds or Chef Tone. It's one of the producers. I don't want to get it mixed up with who's actually doing the singing.
Yeah.
But he did not want to sing that hook.
He didn't want to sing it. Okay. Because there's a high note in that hook, and I was like, did Lupe hit that?
It was one of those pieces where the producer did the beat and was like, yo, I'm gonna do the little hook, but this is for Beyonce to sing.
As a reference.
And he sent it. I was like, yo, we can't afford that. We just gonna keep you. Is that cool if we keep you on there? And we just kept him through the whole piece. But I told him, I was like, yo, trust me, this is you gonna want this. You gonna want to stay on this one for just for what it is. Charlie Wilson is on there too.
Yeah.
Charlie Wilson's like at the end on came into the studio to do another record. Heard this, was like, yo, that's my life story. Yo, I'm finna sing that hook for you right now.
He jumped on it just like that.
In that. Yeah. My girl PJ's on the end of it too. So shout out to PJ. But yeah.
That's a powerful record, man. Powerful.
Why cancer though? Is it something just personal? Is the people in your family? Why cancer in particular?
It's a complex thing for me. I felt I'm at a point now where I felt, everything that I have to do or everything that I'm doing has to have, it has to have longevity, and it has to be like very real. It's something that you can't argue. We can argue politics. We can argue, how do we end the violence over here? How do we do this? But you can't argue about, fighting cancer. And for me, it was just an easier space to deal with as an artist for the backlash. Because, I dare you to say something with this record. I dare you to say something about this. And even if you do, it's great, because now we're having a conversation about fighting cancer. And that's a great thing to do, raise awareness and hopefully raise some money at the same time. So it's a reaction to kind of that, to kind of take myself out of being the punching bag for people. And then make music that I felt like, if I die tomorrow, I want songs to be like that. I want you to remember what I did like that. Lupe put that into the world. And it's like, yeah. And then the other piece there's layers, but the other piece was like, I'm from Chicago. We all recognize Chirac, but we also do this. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We also do this too. We make music about bringing things to life too in Chirac. Same, that kid from the west side of Chicago with all his friends being gangbangers. He can make songs about bringing things to life. So, for me, it's personal. So that's why I can just vibe with the record no matter what, in the car by myself, because I know what that is. So
that's great. That's great, Tracy.
Now, Lupe, I appreciate you for the same exact reasons that Sway has said, because you've always been very, very candid about your life, and it's been so relatable to other people. And I remember right before Lasers had came out, you were very transparent about dealing with depression and having suicidal thoughts, which I thought was awesome, because it's something that makes a lot of people feel ostracized, and they aren't vocal about it. And then we had other, like Childish Gambino was speaking about that, even The Dream. And that was some years back. But I wonder, was it a process to get past it? Are you still dealing with it? Like, how are you maintaining that?
I don't know. I think it's something that never goes away. It's something that you just gotta manage. Just like anything, once you allow yourself to cross that line, you're there. You gotta manage it, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's hard to kind of, to unrationalize. I wouldn't be going through this if I wasn't here, kind of a piece. But the other piece is you gotta start putting yourself in different positions. You gotta change your environment radically and put yourself in different spaces where those forces that were bringing you down on as a parent. So I don't even go to my record company. They'll tell you. Crespo will tell you, I'll drop dead before I walk back into Atlantic Records.
Right.
Because that was such a source, of my downfall mentally and spiritually. So, consequences come when you do stuff like that. But I think the greater good is I'd rather be walking around making music,
Hell yeah.
Than sitting in some hotel room with a gun in my mouth. So, life is life. Love it, live it. Learn from it.
Absolutely.
Lupe Fiasco is here, man. I want to talk about the album too, man.
Yeah.
Is it Tetsuo and Youth?
Tetsuo and Youth.
Tetsuo and Youth. I looked that up, so we're gonna talk. We're gonna find out what Tetsuo means. Up next, 888-742-3345. It's one of my favorite songs right here with the homie Ed Sheeran.
Give me that old school love right now.
Ed Sheeran right there, man.
Shout out to Ed Sheeran.
Oh, that's wrong lyric.
Clean it up.
Old school love right now.
Yeah. Shout out to Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, man, that boy's something else,
Yeah.
man. That boy's something else. He hip hop too, HB.
I know
He
it.
spits lyrics, man.
Yeah, he rap.
Yeah, he's a rapper.
He's a rapper first, then a singer. How about that?
That's crazy. He makes some crazy love songs too. Okay, so Tetsuo and Youth.
Yeah, album number 5.
This is it, right?
Album number 5, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got one more after this with the label.
Oh, you got one more with
One
the label?
more.
Okay.
One album deal, 5 options equals 6 albums.
6 albums, right?
Yeah, so.
Tetsuo, now you correct me if I'm wrong. This is it was a Japanese character, right? No, am I wrong?
That is a truth.
Okay.
That is a truth.
But that's not
That's not what this album is about.
what this album is about.
It's not about that.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
It's funky because I had to be very careful about how we were rolling it out, and when we established the title, because I knew there were kids who were gonna be like, "Oh yeah, it's about Akira," which is a Japan animation called Akira, and one of the main characters in it is Tetsuo.
Yeah.
And he's a crazy character. But anyway, he was a muse for me, a creative muse for one scene in the movie. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. What's up? Nah, but he was like a muse for one scene in the movie. Where I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna, how you have like people say they have like a inspiration wall or something like that, where they put up different images and go back to it and
vision board.
Yeah, so something like that. So for me, when I do that musically, I do the same thing. I'll pick out words that buzz with me, or phrases, or events, or whatever, and then create the album from that. When one of my creative processes. So Tetsuo was one of those characters that stuck out, but it wasn't about him. It wasn't like I'm going to do his biography. So he's an influence in the album, but the album's not about Tetsuo. But I like the way it sounded.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a title for the album, so I was like, hey, Tetsuo and Youth. I'll use that.
Nah, it's catchy, man, because it also created like this mystery. Like we've all been trying to figure out what does that mean? Like I think everybody's trying to figure that out, right?
Creative tension is good, to have that tension of trying to investigate, to get people to, and from every level, to be like, what does that mean? So that's good. That's a good thing to have.
That's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
And so now I don't want to ask you about features and all that. I just want to hear it, And,
I got Rick Ross, Big Crit, Absol, who else? Billy Blue, Trader Truth, Family, Trouble, Glasses Malone, Nikki Jean, Crystal Grant. S1 on beats, DJ Dahi on beats, Justice League on beats, Soundtrack on beats, my man Mozart on beats, Jake One on beats.
Jake One, wow.
Yeah, we got busy on this album.
Yeah.
We over-recorded this album. Chris Brown. We
Chris is out now too.
I know. Shout out to the boy.
Isn't that great?
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing, man. Take him on tour with you.
Word.
Go on tour with him. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Chris is the homie though.
Yeah.
Chris the little bro. So it's good to see him back out on the straight and level.
Yeah.
know?
No, but see, I feel like if you took him on a tour that you do, it'll be different environment for him.
I know. We've been on tour.
Yeah.
We did the Glow in the Dark tour
That's okay.
in happier days between him and Rihanna. And we had a ball. You know, it wasn't none of that extra, you know, like I think sometimes you can put yourself around the wrong people.
Yeah.
And you try and, you know, you live that. It's real, you know, but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
You know, and you kind of fall to the faults of some of your homies.
Yeah.
But when we were rocking, it was all good. Shout out to Miho. You know, shout out to C Breezy. Welcome home, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what's up, man. Okay, so this is what I want to do. I want to open up the phone lines right now. Lupe is here. 888-742-3345. Kiki is on the line from Maryland. Good morning, Kiki.
Hey, Kiki.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Doing all right.
Hey, Lupe. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Kiki? What's going on?
I'm good. I just want to say I've been rocking with you for a long time now. You know, I always say you're one of the most underrated rappers because you are, you know, speaking the truth and you have a message. And I just want to say keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to keep listening. I'm going to go get that album. You know what I'm saying? And just keep doing your thing because it's appreciated.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very
When does the album drop, actually?
We got a release date. I can't. Should I tell? I shouldn't tell them, right? You know, they don't want me to tell what the release date is. I had a release date for like 3 months now.
The people who you won't even go into the office to visit.
Nah, Crespo's
cool, yeah.
Crespo the homie.
Okay.
Shout
One
out
homie.
Right.
You know, you're going to trust them and what they say?
Holiday, Horse, Morris. I got my squad up
You
there.
got your squad up there? You just
got
go.
five homies
I
up
just
there.
can't go to the
You
building.
just can't go upstairs. So, all right. We got
But it's this summer.
It's this summer.
So that give you 3 months.
That give me 3 months of range,
It's
right?
not this month.
Okay, so it won't be June.
So you
Not
got 2
June.
months.
So then you got
July
2.
or
Now you
August.
down
My
to
birthday's
2.
in
Like, what we
July.
talking
I
about?
say July.
We'll see.
Okay, all right.
He likes his game.
So in Connecticut, good morning. How you doing? Say what up to Lupe.
Hey, how's it going? Lupe, assalamu alaikum, man. How's it going?
Alaikum salam. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I just wanted to say a huge fan, first of all. Actually, I was going to ask about the release date, but I guess you're not allowed to divulge that information yet. But, just wanted to say, man, you're a breath of fresh air in a very mugged up mainstream hip-hop, at least, right now. So it's just really nice to hear your music. I don't usually buy music, but, I mean, I bought, food and liquor and lasers. So, I mean, it's just really nice to hear your music. I had a question, actually. I wasn't, this is the one I called, but a couple of years ago, you were performing the inauguration of Barack Obama. I just want to know how you slipped through the cracks with your...
Okay, hold on. Stop.
Stop him.
I did not perform at the inauguration.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about that. I was not invited to attend, let alone perform at the inauguration. I was not at the inauguration.
Okay. All right. So that didn't happen. All right. That's clear.
Just clear that out. Everybody know I was not at the inauguration. I did not send that tweet about Beyonce out either.
Yeah.
Let's
What was
put
that
out
about?
there. I don't know.
What tweet?
What did the tweet say?
There was some, and it was when my Twitter was private, and I
Yeah.
was trying to tell people like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, you can't retweet a private Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There was some tweet when Beyonce put an album out. They was like, "Yo, Lupe got an album coming out." I was like, some guy created a tweet that made it look like I tweeted that. Oh, I got an album. Beyonce ain't the only one that got an album out either.
Yeah.
Which in itself is still like
So
pretty soft, right?
Yeah.
And the backlash that I received, all the way to Dream Hampton. Dream Hampton even tied in. I was like, I didn't even say that though. Like that wasn't even me. There's a
Yeah.
lot of misconceptions about.
So a
what's what.
fake tweet caused backlash
Oh, it's
from
mayhem.
the
It was-
Beehive.
It was
Hey, man.
They run rampant.
Can't go against the Beehive, Lupe.
It made headlines. It went crazy, and I was just sitting back watching, and that was another piece that changed how I operate with people, because it was like, yo, I didn't even say that, and then you had people who I respect, like Dream, come out and say something, and it was just kind of like, yo, but I didn't even say that.
Did anybody apologize once they
Not
found
at
out?
all. And then I even found the kid who did it. He sent me he DM'd me an apology. I put up the apology from the kid.
Yeah.
Who was like, yo, I didn't know it was gonna call. I didn't know it was gonna go this crazy, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, I apologize. I was just, and then he was like, what I even said wasn't even crazy. Ones were like, yo, whatever, well, blah, blah, blah. It was just like, and it was just like, whoa. So I was not at the inauguration. I did not send that tweet about Beyonce.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the elevator with Solange.
That wasn't you? Oh, okay. Damn. We could have swore it was Lupe.
It was not me.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.